Welcome Yamhill County to Speaking Frankly. I'm your host, Howie Harkema, and our tagline is, "And how we doing?" And today I have as our guest Walt Haight, who is with the McMinnville Short Film Festival, and he's on the board of directors, and he's also a film juror. So welcome, Walt.
Thanks, Howie. Good to see you again, my friend.
It's great to see you.
You bet.
I'm so looking forward to this interview and this conversation about the film festival, because I know it's grown by leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds.
So what, first of all, is the McMinnville Short Film Festival?
Howie, the McMinnville Short Film Festival was started in 2011. It's a nonprofit short film festival that celebrates the work of amateurs and some professional filmmakers.
Are they mainly from Oregon, or is it across the United States?
Well, that's a good question. It started out being pretty much a very local event, and then over time we've been channeled into some networks that have gotten us some exposure not only regionally or nationally, but internationally.
Oh, wow.
We're actually getting international submissions now. So that's pretty exciting, because you're seeing films literally from all over the world.
So would you like to talk about how many years this wonderful thing's been happening now?
Yeah, in 2011, Nancy and Dan Morrow began a film festival dedicated to the Alien Days UFO Festival. And so it was a UFO Film Fest event. And after about 6 months after that, they decided to expand and have just a general short film festival. And after trying to run the two pretty much together for a couple of years, they passed off the UFO Film Festival to another group and decided to focus solely on this short film festival in order to broaden the thematic material that you could get and perhaps attract more filmmakers in a much larger arena of topics and subjects.
Sure. So this is the sixth annual.
Sixth annual. In 2011, I think maybe there were somewhere in the neighborhood of about a dozen films.
Sure.
And now we have, let's just say, I don't want to get into actual numbers necessarily. We get a lot of films.
I'm sure you do, and that's one of the questions downstream here.
Sure.
So those initial days, where did you hold this?
The first event was held at the McMinnville Community Center.
Okay.
And then for a couple of years, they held the event at Gallery Theater here in town.
Sure.
And then 2 years ago, we made a deal with the folks out of the Coming Attractions Theater, and together with Chemeketa Community College, which is 50 feet away, we've used both venues to not only have the screenings of the films, but also to hold workshops over in the community college.
How perfect is that?
Perfect. It just, everything just sort of dovetailed right together. So this year, it's going to be over 2 days instead of one. It's grown that much.
Wow.
It's grown that much. And what I really love about it, Howie, is the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind thing here in McMinnville. Now you know, you've been around here a long time. I've been here a few years. That over the last 20 years, McMinnville has really grown into kind of a destination town.
Absolutely.
Especially because wine and
the
Air
Third Street
Museum
was voted incredibly
best west of the Mississippi.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go there. Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful downtown. Nothing in Oregon can even rival it. And you've got lots of wine events going on, and this and that and the other thing going on in this area that attracts people. But there's only one film. Well, there's two film festivals, but this is, I'd go out on a limb not too far to say this is the bigger one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So being a nonprofit, you guys have what is called the McMinnville Short Film Festival Foundation. Would you like to talk about that and your mission statement?
Yeah, the mission statement, I brought a couple of notes.
Oh, good.
Here.
Please, I'm glad.
Mission statement is to provide a venue for aspiring filmmakers to be seen and heard, to expose these aspiring filmmakers to technological and artistic aspects of the occupation, and to encourage innovation and excellence in the arts. The actual foundation was established just this past year.
Okay.
And I actually looked it up as far as what exempt status we have. You wouldn't believe how many different, there's 501c3, there's 501c7, we're a 509A2, and I actually took the time to go and find out what the devil is a 509A2. And it's generally available for organizations that receive few gifts or grants, but which normally receive their support from fees or services such as admissions or sales of materials supporting their exempt function. But we also, we do have sponsors.
Sure.
And many donations.
Well, let's talk about the sponsors since we're right there. You have got some incredible sponsors. I looked on your website and I was blown out.
Yep. We've got some wonderful sponsors. We've got the gallery at 10 Oaks, which is new. It's also run by Dan and Nancy Morrow. It's over on Baker Street. It used to be where Movie Time Video was.
Yeah.
Chemeketa Community College, Linfield, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, Oregon Film, Recology, Coming Attractions Theater,
Yes.
Copycats, and Sunrise Rotary, and then last but certainly not least, our dear friend Ronnie LeCrute has been.
Well, if you hadn't mentioned Sunrise Rotary, you would have been in serious trouble.
I would have been in serious trouble. Yes. I mean, I underlined them.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. So, do you need additional sponsors to keep this going year after year?
I don't think you can ever have enough sponsors.
Well, of course not.
the more the merrier, but I think we're in pretty good shape right now in the way of sponsorships. I mean, we could always use more. It's work to get out there and pound the pavement and try to attract sponsors, and you know that. Doggone it! I mean, all these people are constantly being besieged by requests to sponsor this or place an ad for that. I mean, businesses and organizations they're constantly being solicited to sponsor some.
So that brings me right to the next question, which is, do you need volunteers?
Well, I think we're in pretty good shape this year, besides those of us who are on the board who are working on many of the details, like Diane Longacre, Jeff Sargent, Julia Sargent, and of course Nancy and Dan.
Right.
There's about 6 to 8 other volunteers right now that are in place, so that when we're out at the venue of Chemeketa, and at the Coming Attractions Theater, we have people who are taking tickets, people who are offering directions, people who are helping out with setting up the awards dinner. And so right now I think we're in pretty good shape, but we can always use more.
Sure.
Because there's also getting out there and putting those posters up around
Absolutely.
town. I've been going to Salem, to Carlton, to Yamhill, and of course here to McMinnville, and trying to get a few of those up. So can always use help.
Would you talk about the multi-tiered memberships? Because I looked on your website and you've got different categories for different amounts of money.
Sure. Right now we have a new system of memberships that you can find online at our website. There's 4 levels ranging from $50 to $200, and with each, of course, you get an increasing number of perks.
Of course.
To go along with that, and it's a tax deduction.
Sure.
So I think it's really worthwhile to at least check that out.
Yeah.
It's the first year we're doing it, and I think it'll grow over time.
I think so.
It takes a lot of work, just like, Gallery Theater's got their membership program.
Sure.
It's grown. Pinnacle Theater down in Salem, they have their memberships. It's a couple of pages long and fine print. So I think this is the start of something good with memberships.
Good. Hey, Ian, would you please bring up their website and then the Facebook page afterward? So when does this year's film festival actually occur, and where's it going to be again, so that people get an idea?
Okay, the film festival this year is the weekend of October 1st and 2nd.
Right.
The screenings are going to be held at the Coming Attractions Theater.
Right.
In their largest theater.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then there will also be an awards dinner. There will be some workshops that are going on right next door at Chemeketa Community College. But I don't want to miss one other thing. There's a kickoff event that's actually happening Thursday night.
Okay.
Thursday night, which would be the 29th? Yes, 29th.
Yes.
Over at Third Street Pizza. And it's going to be, like I said, a kickoff event, and they're going to show films from local film makers. So maybe some will be shown at the regular event. A couple of them might not be shown at the regular event. But this is sort of a way to kick off the whole thing and have some local filmmakers have their work seen. And so, yeah, I think $5 will get you into the kickoff event at
and eat some pizza.
And eat some pizza.
And beer. Yeah.
Drink a little beer.
So how can they buy tickets and support this event?
You can go to the gallery at Ten Oaks, which is, I think, at 801 Southwest Baker Street. I think 801 is the address. I could double check that, but it's where the Movie Time video used to be.
Right, most people know where that is.
And you can buy tickets there, or you probably buy a membership there too. You can get memberships online. You can also buy tickets on the days of the event. Now, the one kicker, if you get your tickets in advance, you have your name entered into a drawing.
Ooh.
A couple of nice prizes. I think one is an estate tour and a tasting for 6 at one of our notable wineries, Dobbs. And there's another prize of 3 bottles of wine from Coleman and a couple of McMinnville Short Film Festival wine glasses that you can win. So I would recommend to anybody who wants to maybe win a prize to go down to the gallery at Ten Oaks and get their tickets in advance.
Well, you brought some clips of some of the films that we're going to actually get to see at the film festival. And first I'm going to ask you one last question, and then you can describe each of these films and maybe who their filmmakers are. How many films on average do you select yearly out of the many submissions?
I think you'd have to turn that into a percentage because the number has actually grown.
Sure, exponentially, I'm sure.
So this year, I believe there's a total of 30 films that are going to be shown. There are 3 screenings. There's going to be one Saturday day, Saturday night, and Sunday day. The one difference between the 3, I think on Saturday night, we've clustered in maybe some of those films that might have a bit of a darker aspect, perhaps have a little bit of adult material, adult language. I know there's one that has what I would consider to be gratuitous violence.
That happens once in a while.
It does happen.
Tarantino and a few others.
Tarantino. This is. I watched this one, and for some reason I was reminded of this old Rory Calhoun piece of schlock. This is not a piece of schlock, but the Rory Calhoun film Motel Hell.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Back in the late '80s.
Yep.
So, but I don't want anyone to misunderstand me here. This is not a piece of schlock. It just reminded me of Motel Hell. Okay.
So, Walt, would you introduce the very first clip we're going to see, please?
The first clip is called Carbon, and I think these clips are all, maybe about a minute long, and I think the only thing I really need to say is that it deals with clones.
Okay. Ian, could you run the first one? And the second one?
The second one is called Entangled. This is more of an animation
Okay.
video. We had several animation videos and films submitted this year. It's, I guess, let's just watch it.
Sure.
A little animation.
There we go.
You and your sister, condemned in connection, to twins entangled, birthed to tide fates. Quantum mechanics sows randomness. Classical mechanics harvests order.
Wow. Quite creative.
Yeah, I think we're already seeing, just with the first two clips, that the quality of these films, whether it be from an amateur or a professional, they're all almost across the board
They look-
top-notch productions.
Absolutely. So the third one is?
It's called For Dad. It is about a young lady in her teens who is keeping something of a video diary while her father's in a coma, so that when he wakes up, he can catch up
Oh,
with all of the events that have happened since he went into a coma.
how unique.
Now, it's different.
Go ahead, Ian.
Hey! Okay, I said I was gonna do this, so gonna do it. Let's see, it's Monday. I just got home. It's the first day back at school, and everybody's really nice. Like, nice to the point of being creepy. It's like everything everybody does is because your dad's in a coma. So now I am literally looking forward to doing math homework. I just said that out loud. And you know, now it kind of feels like you're faking this whole thing because this is what you really wanted.
And the fourth one?
It's called Gorilla, and it's about, I think, what we would call an aspiring actor who, at the time, at this time, is playing the role of the necessary gorilla in a silent, and I believe silent jungle epic.
Go ahead and roll it. And the next one?
Yeah, before I
Okay,
talk
go
about
ahead.
before I talk about the next one, this last one you saw that some of these filmmakers, I'm not sure if they had a huge budget, but certainly they must have had
A budget.
a budget and the resources to do some of this filming on location.
You
in
bet.
a few of these locations. The next one is Oh, Love Unleashed is a documentary, and it is a film about basically the bond of love that in this case exists between dog owners and their senior dogs.
Oh, very good. Go ahead, Ian.
where they just get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and then that's when they go to their next world. They sort of sweeten us out. They're so full of heart and soul and love.
I have to confess, I was disappointed by one thing in that film.
Okay.
No beagle. I
Oh,
wanted a beagle in that movie. There was no beagle.
was that the sixth clip? Or
No,
is
no,
there
we've got
more?
one. We've got one more.
Okay.
This is called Shanghai Faders, filmed, I do believe, in Portland.
Okay.
A rather dark film with a lot of mysterioso in it.
A little obtuse.
Yeah,
Yes.
just
well,
a bit. It's
Okay.
it's different.
Okay. Well.
Hey, do you have a phone I can use? Okay, time to go.
Fantastic. Now, folks, those are just 1-minute segments of 6 films out of 30 that are going to get played. So that's fantastic.
Right, and I know I've watched at least, must have been at least twice that many.
Yeah.
So there were hours and hours. For those of us who were judges, there were hours and hours of not only film viewing, but then you critique it. You
Right.
have to give it a score, and then you have to put your thoughts and comments down, and that takes a little bit of time.
So that was kind of my next question. Do these films have to be juried in?
Yes, yes. There are, this year, 5 judges, myself,
Yes.
Jeff Sargent, who has been a juror since the first year.
Okay.
Carolyn Franzoni, who has also been here since the beginning. She is the daughter of a Hollywood actor from the 30s and 40s named Eddie Bracken.
I've heard that name.
He was in some screwball comedies that I believe it was Preston Sturgis made back in the early 40s. Hail the Conquering Hero, The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. And I think one of his last films was the original National Lampoon Vacation. He owned the theme park of Wally World.
Wally World, yes.
Also, we have Todd Logan on for his 3rd year. He was a film critic way back when he was in college at UCLA. And then we actually have a new judge this year is Kevin Smith, who is a Chemeketa Community College film studies professor.
Okay.
So there are 5 of us, and Nancy and Dan also put in their 2 cents
Sure.
for these films.
So are there different film categories that you defined to choose from?
When we first started, we would have categories for documentary and for, say, music, video, drama, or comedy. We changed that so that everybody is more or less all in the same big giant kettle, because we found that if you had to give an award for, say, best documentary, and there were 5 dramas or comedies that were all as good,
Right.
if not perhaps better for one reason or another, maybe a couple of films kind of got aced out because you had categorized these films. So now we're just watching them all, judging them on their merits, and have a handful of awards to hand out.
Well, defining better is from each person's perspective, too.
Absolutely. It's totally subjective.
Totally.
Subjective. I mean, I know that I had some films on my list that were I rated quite high, and Others didn't feel the same, or I didn't think much of the film, and others thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
Sure.
yeah, you're right, subjective.
So selection of winners. You actually have awards and prizes, and it breaks out a grand jury prize
Right.
for best film. And then best cinematography, best director, best story, and then the Will Vinton Best Animation Prize.
Right. Last year, our keynote speaker was Will Vinton, who
Right.
coined the term claymation, and
Right.
so sort of in tribute to him, we now have an award that we asked and received permission to use his name as for the best animation.
Well, I played on his music on his short film Closed Mondays.
Get out of here!
I did with Billy Scream.
So did you ever get to hold the Oscar?
Yes, we did. He actually brought it to the studio and let us all touch it.
You lucky guy.
Yeah, I know. So let's talk about the Recology Sustainability Award.
Right. That's an award given for a film that has an environmental or sustainability
Theme.
And there were a couple of
I'm sure there were.
a couple of documentaries that talked about that very thing.
And then Sunrise Rotary Emerging Artist Award.
That used to be called the Sunrise Rotary Emerging Artist Award.
Okay.
Now we've changed it. Not all of the submittals listed the time of experience of the filmmaker, and so we've changed it just to the Sunrise Rotary Award to the best Oregon filmmaker. So it's sort of our way of keeping things local. So now it's going to be just for Oregon filmmakers.
So we have about 2 minutes. Let's get through this. Meet
Sure.
and greet time prior to the screenings.
Right. There will be a meet and greet before each screening, and then there will actually be a Q&A session
Right.
after each screening.
Right.
And then there's going to be an awards dinner. There's going to be educational opportunities on Sunday. So we've got all these things. There's some downtime. There'll be an event down here in downtown McMinnville at Willamette Valley Vineyards.
Very good.
And there's a couple of restaurants that we've sort of hyped up. We talked to them about, maybe making a deal. So we've got a couple.
And you have a
restaurants.
keynote speaker that's a filmmaker and producer, David Allen Kress.
Right. This year we have the producer of Portlandia
I love that show.
as our keynote speaker. Yeah, we couldn't be more thrilled. I mean, I thought we were thrilled getting Will Vinton last year. I mean, that
This
was
is
great.
awesome.
But getting this gentleman from Portlandia, that's
Well, we get to express that Portland is weird through
Yes,
Portlandia, and
that's right.
thankful for them to do this.
absolutely.
So my very last question, how can community get involved and support this very creative once-a-year event?
Oh, doggone it, come down and watch it.
Absolutely.
Come down and there, like I said, there are 3 screenings. There's one Saturday day, Saturday night, and Sunday day. Become a member. Again, we've shown the
Right.
website. Become a member. If you're feeling particularly generous, be a sponsor. Let's grow this thing and keep it moving. I would have to say it, no doubt about it, it's spiking in popularity. We get close to 150 to 175 people at each screening. So we
fantastic.
know that people are turning out to see this.
Right.
But we want to see this event continue to be maybe hopefully one of the centerpieces of culture in McMinnville and gain some
Notoriety.
notoriety. You betcha.
So the one thing we didn't express was the cost
Right.
per day, per person.
Each screening is $10.
Okay, that's
There are-
nothing.
There are 3 screenings. If you wanted to go to all 3, you get $5 off.
Sure.
There's also an awards dinner if you want to go to that. It is, I believe, $20, but I think you get $5 off for that too. If you go to the awards dinner and all the screenings, it's $45 instead of $50.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it was $20.
Awesome.
For that awards dinner.
So Walt, thank you so much for being on Speaking Frankly.
Been a pleasure, Howie.
And-
Good to see you
and
again.
Folks, if you want to get behind this, October 1st and 2nd out at McMinnville Cinemas next to Chemeketa Community College. Come out and support the film festival. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.